It was a cold winter morning. The historic streets of Boston were lightly dusted with snow. People rushed past, their faces flushed from the biting air. John F. Kennedy, on his way to a meeting in the heart of the city, decided to walk. He often found solace in walking, feeling the rhythm of the city and connecting with its people. Today was no different, as he left most of his security detail behind, accompanied by only one or two aides. While strolling through the historic buildings, a man sitting on the corner caught Kennedy's attention. The man was wearing a worn-out military jacket, and next to him was a cardboard sign that read, "Korean War Veteran, Hungry and Homeless. Please help." Kennedy paused mid-step. The bustling crowd around him paid no attention to the man, walking by as though he didn't exist. But Kennedy's sharp eyes couldn't ignore the pleading message on the sign. He turned to his aide, gesturing for a moment of privacy, then approached the man. "Hello there, friend." "What's your name?" Kennedy asked, kneeling to the man's level. The man looked up, startled. It wasn't every day someone spoke to him with such kindness, let alone someone like Kennedy. As he realized who stood before him, his eyes widened in disbelief. "My name is Samuel, sir," he said hesitantly. "Samuel Hayes." Kennedy smiled warmly. "Samuel, you're a veteran, right? What unit were you with?" Samuel took a deep breath, his gaze drifting far away, as if he were reliving memories buried deep in his soul. "I served in the Korean War as a sergeant. I was on the front lines." Kennedy nodded, encouraging him to continue. Samuel hesitated, then began sharing his story. "When the war broke out, I was a young man full of hope and determination. I believed it was my duty to serve. We were shipped out to Korea in the dead of winter. The cold there. It cut through to your bones, much like today." He paused, rubbing his hands together for warmth. "We were stationed near the 38th parallel. Every day, we faced mortar fire, ambushes, and the constant threat of death. I lost more friends than I can count. There was one day I'll never forget. My unit was caught in an ambush. I was hit by shrapnel while trying to pull a wounded soldier to safety. I thought I wouldn't make it." Kennedy listened intently, his expression serious. "But you did," he said softly. "I did," Samuel replied, his voice trembling, "but not without a cost. The injury left me with chronic pain, and I was honorably discharged. I came back to the States thinking I'd rebuild my life, but it wasn't that easy. Employers didn't want to hire someone with a limp. The bills piled up. I lost my home, my family, and now, here I am." Kennedy placed a firm yet comforting hand on Samuel's shoulder. "Samuel, we can't leave you here. This country owes you more than this." Kennedy reached for his phone and called one of his staff members. "I need a car here immediately, and book a room at the best hotel in the city," he said firmly. He also requested a doctor to meet them as soon as possible. Turning back to Samuel, Kennedy gave a reassuring smile. "But first, let's get you something warm to eat. How does that sound?" Samuel hesitated, then nodded with a small, grateful smile. Together, they walked to a nearby restaurant. As they entered, the staff froze, surprised to see Kennedy. But Kennedy waved it off, focusing entirely on Samuel. "Order whatever you like, Samuel. Today, it's all about you," Kennedy said warmly. Samuel shyly asked for a bowl of soup, but Kennedy insisted on ordering a full meal: steak, mashed potatoes, and warm bread. While Samuel ate, Kennedy asked about his family, his dreams, and the struggles he faced after the war. Samuel shared how he had once dreamed of becoming a mechanic, fixing engines and building a stable life. But those dreams had crumbled under the weight of life's hardships. As Samuel spoke, Kennedy couldn't help but feel a deep sense of responsibility. This man had given so much for his country, and yet he had been left behind. After the meal, the car Kennedy requested arrived at the restaurant. Kennedy helped Samuel into the vehicle, and they drove to a luxurious hotel. On the way, Kennedy reassured Samuel, "This isn't just about tonight. We're going to figure out a plan to get you back on your feet." When they arrived at the hotel, the staff, having been briefed by Kennedy's team, greeted Samuel warmly. They provided him with clean clothes, a hot shower, and a comfortable room to rest. A doctor soon arrived to evaluate Samuel's health and prescribe the necessary treatment. Kennedy stayed until he was sure Samuel was settled. Before leaving, he turned to Samuel and said, "Samuel, this isn't just for tonight. Over the next week, we're going to find you a job and a permanent place to live." Over the next few days, Kennedy's team worked tirelessly to secure a job for Samuel at a local garage, a place where he could put his mechanical skills to use. They also found him a modest apartment, fully furnished and close to his new workplace. Samuel's story quickly made headlines. The media praised Kennedy's compassion and leadership, while Samuel became a symbol of hope for countless veterans who had felt forgotten. Years later, Samuel reflected on that day with tears in his eyes. "That was the day my life turned around. President Kennedy didn't just give me help, he gave me hope." Inspired by his encounter with Samuel, Kennedy pushed for new programs to support veterans returning from war. His vision was simple: no one who served their country should ever feel abandoned. This moment became the foundation for a national movement, highlighting the struggles of homeless veterans and creating pathways for their reintegration into society. But Samuel's story isn't just about one man's redemption. It's a mirror held up to all of us, a reminder of the countless Samuels who walk among us every day, unseen and unheard. They sit on park benches, linger on street corners, and carry the invisible scars of service and sacrifice. Yet they're often overlooked by a world too busy to stop and listen. Kennedy's actions teach us that it doesn't take a title or great power to make a difference. Sometimes it's as simple as a kind word, a helping hand, or even just taking the time to acknowledge someone's humanity. Samuel's life was changed because one man chose to see him, to hear his story, and to act. As Samuel later said, "President Kennedy didn't just save my life. He reminded me of my worth. He showed me that even when the world forgets, there is still kindness out there." As we conclude Samuel's story, let's remember that we all have the power to create change. Look around you. Who might need a kind gesture or a moment of understanding? It might be a veteran like Samuel, a neighbor, or even a stranger. Small acts of compassion can ripple outwards and transform lives in ways you may never imagine. And now, we'd love to hear from you. What did you think of Samuel's story? Have you ever witnessed or been part of an act of kindness that changed someone's life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with someone who might need a little hope today. And if you want to see more stories like this, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Together, let's build a world where no one feels invisible. Thank you for watching, and remember, every act of kindness matters.